I'd like to start our practice today with a sentiment of metta. And this is a little painting, and this one reads, "May your humility empower your heart, mind. May your humility empower your heart, mind." Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha. And for the month of July, we have been exploring a unique theme that I've titled, "What's All That Noise?" And this is based on a workshop that I teach. And it is, it sort of has echoes of the internal family systems where we look at various archetypes, various qualities of our personalities that coalesce and come together to define the whole of who we are. I decided to sort of categorize this month by looking back at ourselves, looking at ourselves when we were young, children, looking back at ourselves when we were adolescents, spending a week exploring who we are as adults, and now we're stepping toward the elder years, the age where we have an opportunity to look over quite a volume of experience, a library of wisdom that we've gathered, many, many chapters of our lives that we can look back on and reflect as we slowly take steps toward our ultimate decline and end. And so today, Buddhists spend a lot of time contemplating death, contemplating rebirth. And it isn't about sort of the Judeo-Christian theology where there's this motivation to do good things so you can be guaranteed to have a good heavenly existence, or to avoid bad things so that you don't go to hell. This has a little bit more discernment in terms of looking at our actions, looking at the conditions that create actions that water seeds for goodness, looking at the conditions that create acts within us that cause us to engage in negative habit energy, for instance. And what are those conditions? What are those reasons? And to come into full ownership of them, not so that we can be guaranteed a better rebirth, but so that we can actually enjoy our lives now. And that is a monumental distinction. In this present moment, we can experience a heavenly realm or a hellish one. Today, I'd like to bring forward something in Buddhism that is well documented. And if you want to write these down, I'm going to repeat them slowly. But you can Google them later if you want to. They're simply known as the Five Remembrances. And the Five Remembrances are these contemplative guides, places of pause, that we can allow our minds a moment of discernment. So today, I'd like to share them with you, and I'd like to invite the chime to sing after I read them. And then we're going to have a period of silence so you can just allow this wisdom to settle into the mind, to maybe find a place to land in the heart, to stir up any sort of emotion or reactivity, which then can allow you to practice, "Ooh, would you look at that?" Or maybe today your practice will be more aligned with, "Ugh, ooh, always an opportunity to look. I'd like to preface this practice by reminding everybody that we are complex beings. We carry layers of personal experience. We carry layers of ancestral legacy. And we come here for an hour and we get to peel that all away and allow the core of our being, our Buddha nature, to rise, to radiate, to ground. Take a deep breath. The first remembrance. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no escaping aging. The second remembrance. I am of the nature to have ill health. I am of the nature to have ill health. The third remembrance is I am of the nature to die. There is no escaping death. The fourth remembrance is all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no escape being separated from them. The fifth remembrance is my actions are, are my only true belonging. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Friends, I'd like to take the fifth remembrance, our actions, for a little spin. And I'd like to bring us all into the present moment of our actions as individuals and as a collective Sangha. We have all elected wise action to be here today. We have employed effort and intention, understanding. We're practicing wise speech and mindfulness. There's a degree of concentration involved. And the things that we practice here and the things that we learn here improve our entire livelihood and lives. The Noble Eightfold Path. It meets us in every step. And one of the things about coming to a Recovery Dharma meeting is that we're in a space where we're safe. Most of us are safe. There's no immediate threat. Most of us have had good food to eat and shelter. We have clothes and support. In other words, the conditions surrounding our practice in this moment have a degree of ease. Nothing is challenging us to any great degree. And this is an impeccable environment in which to practice, because when the environment, when the conditions become really challenging, that's when our practice is tested. That's when the rubber meets the road. So we come into an environment where nothing is really putting any pressure on us. We're doing that to ourselves. We're reflecting on some pretty heavy-handed concepts like death, illness, aging, change, karma. And the reason why the Buddhists and the Buddha encourages us to explore these concepts when we are doing well is so that we can get underneath the conditions of suffering. We can get indirect, we can get sidelined, we can look from every angle possible, so that when suffering, when a condition comes and is coming directly at us head on, we will have explored suffering from multiple angles, which means that we can stand firmly. We can allow that wave, that tumult to come, and we'll have some solidity and stability already embodied and in the mind. This is an extraordinary act of courage, self-regard, and love. And all you have to do is look around, and you encounter many who are deeply suffering, who don't have access to a moment of discernment, an inkling of reflection. And so they are just living one reaction to the next reaction. They themselves deeply suffering, and in response to that, creating more suffering. I want to tell you a story that happened to me earlier today to illustrate my point. I was having my car repaired, and I got up to use the restroom, and as I was walking down a little hallway, a woman and a man who I presume was her husband, an older woman, passed me. And she said with just real venom as I passed her, "Evil, evil, evil." And I turned around thinking, oh my goodness, what is she seeing in the lobby? What's going on out there? So I turned around and I looked, and I didn't see anything. And so I kept walking. And it was only a moment, but then I realized, oh my goodness, she's talking about me and to me. And then my next thought was really rather lovely, which was, is it my dress? Does she not like my dress? Because I really love my dress. What's wrong with my dress? And then I realized, oh, it's my tote bag that she saw. And on my tote bag it reads, "I read banned books." And that's what she was reacting to. And the reaction was enormously hateful, audacious, sad. So sad, so much suffering. So I went into the bathroom and I thought about it, and I had all this stir. You know, I was sad. I was completely pissed off. I was scripting the pieces of my mind I was going to lay on her. And as luck would have it, she was nowhere to be found when I went back out in the lobby to look for her. But I tell you, if I hadn't had this practice, if I didn't know how to take a moment to breathe, if I didn't have a notion somewhere swirling in my mind, a reminder that said, hey, 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 Julia, your actions are your true belonging. They are the only thing you stand on. How do you want to act in this world with this precious human life of yours? Because you're going to continue to grow old if you're lucky. You're bound to get sick and you're gonna die. And you're gonna be separated from everything and everyone you love. So how do you want to treat this precious human life? The answer to that, friends, is personal and complex for most of us. For me, I want to live my precious human life, lighting small fires of sacredness everywhere I go. A reminder that you light your own way and you have everything you need. That's it. Let's go ahead, friends, and end our practice with a dedication of merit. We ended our practice today with the fifth remembrance, karma, our actions. And one of the things about the Buddhist practice that is truly unique is we are not invited to examine our actions as a burden that we carry around with us for the rest of our lives. Like our past actions is something that we have to Sherpa for all eternity. The Buddhist practice invites us to look at all of our actions, past and present, to siphon, to excavate their wisdom and their treasure in order to propel us to a future that is wholesome, full of integrity, compassion, kindness, joy. These are the things that lead us to freedom. And this is our birthright. May your humility empower your heart-mind, the place of bodhicitta, your Buddha nature. Thank you for your beautiful practice today, friends. To the sacredness of you, I bow deeply. Namaste.